And welcome back to the Blue and Gold Report. I'm your host, Mark Roberts. We have a terrific show, as I mentioned earlier today, starting with the NCAA champion from last season. He's still a champion until a new one is crowned. In the 800 meters, I think a future Olympian and an All-American and one of the great athletes of recent years in UC Irvine track and field, Charles Jock, joins us. Charles was a three-time All-American, not once, but three-time Big West Conference Athlete of the Year. It's amazing. It's storybook. He was honored as UC Irvine's Outstanding Student Athlete at the 42nd Annual Lauds and Laurels ceremony last May, a very, very prestigious event. He competed in the finals of the 800 meters at the U.S. Olympic Trials last June. He is now, of course, competing professionally, and he is looking forward to being a key, and the key word is key, participant in the 2016 Olympics. And by the way, as a sophomore in 2010, Charles broke Steve Scott's school record in the 800 meters, which had stood for 32 years. And Steve Scott, of course, for many years was the American record holder in the mile. Charles, it's great to see you. How you doing? You look great.
I'm doing great. It's great to be here.
Kind of a key time for you right now because the professional track and field season really kicks off at the end of the month in overseas in Europe. We'll talk about that in a second. We hadn't spoken to you since you became the NCAA champion last June in the 800 meters. What were your thoughts after winning it and now removed 10, 11 months in being the defending champion?
Right after I won, it was more relief than anything. I kind of came in.
I can understand that.
The year before was so close. I lost by 0.04 seconds. So it was more relief than anything. But at the time, I was just looking forward to the graduating and Olympic trials. So there were bigger things I was looking forward to. So I didn't really get to enjoy it as much.
Right.
Since then, it really hit me hard at the basketball game when they presented me with with my jersey. And they played the video, and I had goosebumps. So it was crazy. Yeah, I had a tear in my eye, and I was watching it. And thank God we were at commercial break, and I
could recap it for a moment, catch my composure. That was beautiful, well-deserved, and you're an anteater forever. You had good experience here at UCI, didn't you?
I had a great experience. I enjoyed all 4 years.
Yeah. And you put up with that character of Vince Boyle for 4 years. That's the key of knowing that you're a champion. We love Vince. Okay, now you're a professional. You had a regiment. You were going to school, a fine student, obviously, by the Lauds and Laurels Award, and an All-American athlete with a lot of eyes on you, but friends here and kind of a regiment. Now you're on your own. You're a professional athlete, young guy, 23 years old. What have been the adjustments from being a collegiate track star to now a professional track and field athlete?
I think that's been our hardest thing, going from something like solid. I had practice schedule at X time. I had class at this time, and I had to study at this time. Everything was so structured.
Right.
Now pro, everything is not as structured. All I have to do is practice. So I can wake up, at 11 o'clock during the day. And,
sure.
It's been the hardest thing, and it's hard to get that structure. The structure kind of keeps everything informed.
We all can use a little structure in our lives, Charles. But, the good thing is, too, with the weather getting warmer now and then, you can adjust and run when it's a little cooler or when it's most advantageous for yourself. Now, what is a typical regimen, a typical day of training for yourself as you ready for the professional season of 2013, but your long-range goal of 2016 and the Olympics? What kind of regimen do you have? Do you run sprints, lift weights a little bit? How long do you run?
A typical day, wake up around 7 or 8 o'clock, have breakfast, practice between 11 to 1 or 2 o'clock, and we lift weights 3 days a week. So
okay.
I'm still lifting at UC Irvine. Bobby Harmson's still making my lifting workouts.
Terrific.
I'm still training at UCI Monday through Friday.
And your good friend Ryan Martin, who is a tremendous runner himself and has edged you out in key races, and of course you got him in the, although got him is a kind of a lax term there in the 800-meter championship. He's a dear friend. He is a possible Olympian himself. You live together with him. How does that friendship, carrying over from college when you were competitors to now being pro athletes, how does that flow?
It's been great. I mean, Ryan and I have been going back and forth, conference 800 since 2009. You know, we've been so competitive for so many years. You know, we developed our friendship. You know, we were able to compete on the track, but you know, off the track, we were able to support each other and just kind of be there, understanding, you know, what kind of pain we go through to run the 800. So it's nice to have him around. You know, we get to talk track and you know, kind of just lay out our goals and things we want to do. And it's also nice having somebody of that caliber just around you all the time.
Sure.
It makes you work that much harder.
And I imagine his goals are set the same as yours of being in Rio in 2016.
Oh, yeah.
Not a bad place to be, is it?
No.
Rio de Janeiro.
I mean, who wants to go to London? It was all raining and everything.
Right. Rio is one of the romantic spots on the planet Earth. With Ryan, where did the friendship? Obviously, you respected each other. Tremendous talents. 1-2 in the country in the 800 meters for 3-4 years there. But where did the friendship take place? How did that kind of instigate itself away from the track, where you realize, hey, this is a really good guy. This guy has a lot of things I can learn from, and things I can add to his life.
It was mostly after I think it was our sophomore year. You know, after we'd compete, and then after competition, we just kind of hang out and talk a little bit and got to know each other a lot better. And also the postseason, after the Big West Conference, and you know, we go on to regionals and nationals.
Right.
All the Big West athletes tend to stick together.
Sure.
So you know, we got to hang out a lot and got to know each other pretty well.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens in athletic competition, where you're really rivals. You want to knock this guy's block up, but as you go further down the road, you realize, hey, I'm helping him by being good. He's helping me by being good, and a pretty good human being. Well, that's kind of a neat story. Talk about going over to Europe now. Now, you're going to be leaving when? Early July or late June?
We're shooting for mid-July.
Okay. And how long will you be over there? And where in Europe are you going to be having some races?
I mean, a lot of that depends on whether or not we make the world team. And this year's world team is in Moscow. This world's world championship is in Moscow, August 8th through 10th.
Wow.
So a lot where I go and where I race depends on whether we make that team or not.
And when is the first real important race as far as setting that up as possibly going to Moscow?
This weekend.
Okay.
I'm actually racing on Friday, and it kind of determines where I'm at. It'll be my first fresh 800 of the year. So I'm excited about that. But next week and the week after are also pretty important. We have the New York Diamond League, and then the Prefontaine Classic, which is a fairly popular meet in Oregon.
Now, will all three of those meets and others, will they? Who will look at it? Who will judge who's going over there? And is it based on one particular race or several races, or how's that?
These next three meets are more just for me and my coaches to determine what workouts we should do and where we're at.
Okay.
Late June 22nd is the USA Championships.
There you go.
So you have to place top three there, and the top three go on to the world team.
Where will that meet be held?
I will be in Des Moines, Iowa this year.
Des Moines, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
I was there with our basketball team about 7-8 years ago when we played Drake University. Not a lot to do there, nice people though, so you'll enjoy that.
Very familiar with that track.
Yeah, good. How do you feel? Are you healthy? Do you feel like your practice times and the one meet that you have run in that you're where you want to be right now?
I'm healthy, which is the most important thing.
Yes.
And I mean, the biggest thing this year is trying to differentiate the seasons. The professional season goes on, it starts later and goes on longer than the collegiate season. So I keep trying to compare myself to where I was at last year, which is not what I should be doing right now. But overall, my workouts are going great. I'm healthy, and that's all that really matters at this point.
Now, your long-term goal, obviously, is to be an Olympian, and you have a tremendous chance to be that. Mm-hmm. It's still, though, the Olympic trials will be 3 years from probably June or July, whenever. So what is the progression? What is the long-term plan? Is it to continue to compete at the World Championships, go overseas, and measure yourself against the best Europeans and the best Asians in the world? Or is there another underneath plan, a different way of getting to the Olympics?
I mean, after the Olympics, the World Championships is the next biggest stage of track and field.
Right.
So that's held every 2 years, so this year in 2017. So those are the next goals after the making the Olympic team.
Real benchmarks, aren't they?
Big benchmarks. Now they determine it kind of almost determine who makes that Olympic team.
Charles, do you recall your winning time in the 800 meters, winning the NCAA championship last year?
I think it was 1:45.6.
1:45.6. And what do you think it would take just to make the U.S. Olympic team in 3 years, as a guess? And you know, obviously, things can adjust.
I mean, in the 800, the U.S. has been getting stronger and stronger.
Right.
You know, I think it took a 1:45.3 to make the 2008 team. This last year, it took a 1:44.7 or 8, I think.
Wow.
So I mean, in 3 years, it's only going to get faster. There's a great group of young talent coming up. My guess would be a 1:44 low.
Okay.